Big news for Denver Broncos fans. The Denver Broncos just got a major update on Weapon X, the player who could make sure the team doesn't struggle in the upcoming season. Today, we're breaking down the wide receivers, running backs, and tight ends that are climbing up Coach Sean Payton's draft list, and some names that are falling fast. But before we dive into the latest Broncos news, make sure to subscribe, like the video, and hit the bell icon so you never miss an update. Now, let's get into it. Sean Payton was spotted at the latest scouting event, wearing the same yellow hoodie from his press conference a few days ago. But he wasn't just there for show. He was watching what many experts are calling the deepest running back class in years. Even former players and top analysts are saying this group is stacked with talent. The NFL's focus on running backs has shifted over the years, but now it looks like they're making a huge comeback. There's so much skill in this draft class that teams are wondering, should they even use a first-round pick on a running back, or wait because there's so much depth? The NFL Combine is proving one thing: every player is going through the exact same tests, which makes it easier to compare them side by side. Instead of just watching highlight reels, scouts can see who really stands out under the same conditions. Rumors are already flying. Teams like the Raiders might be looking at drafting a running back as early as the 6th pick. But with so many holes to fill, is that the right move? If the Raiders draft a running back with the 6th pick, would that be a smart move or a huge mistake? Looking at the 40-yard dash times, we're seeing some insane speed from this year's prospects. And these aren't just small, quick guys. These are powerful athletes who can outrun defenders and break tackles. Let's talk about the biggest standouts so far. One name that's turning heads is Bashal Toon from Virginia Tech, who ran a blazing 4.34-second 40-yard dash. Right behind him is Jaden Blue, clocking in at 4.38, and then there's Brashard Smith, the most shocking of them all. Smith started as a wide receiver before switching to running back at SMU, and now he just ran a sub 4.4 time, a game-changer for a player at his position. And we can't forget Omari Hampton from North Carolina. This guy is making waves, not just with his speed but with his relative athletic score, RAS, a ranking system that compares athletes' physical abilities against thousands of past players. Out of nearly 2,000 running backs tested over the years, Hampton ranks 14th. That means his size, speed, and overall athleticism put him in elite company. With so many freakishly talented running backs in this draft, teams will have some tough choices to make. Do they take a speedster early, or wait, knowing there's still tons of talent left on the board? Some of these athletes are putting up unbelievable numbers, and one name that keeps standing out is Omari Hampton. His 4.47-second 40-yard dash is impressive, but what's even crazier? His 38-inch vertical jump, proof that he's not just fast, but explosive. And let's be real, this guy isn't some lightweight speedster. He's built like a tank, with muscles you probably didn't even know existed. Now, this raises a big question. Why draft Ashton Jeanty at pick 20 when someone like Hampton might be available in the second round? Could he even jump back into the first round with these insane numbers? One thing's for sure, this running back class is so deep that teams don't need to rush their pick. Another standout? Bashal Toon from Virginia Tech. We've talked about him before, but his numbers deserve another look. His RAS score, relative athletic score, is a bit lower, but that's mainly due to his size, 5 feet 9 inches, 206 pounds. Compare that to Hampton, who's 5'11 inches and carries an extra 20 pounds of muscle. But what really makes Toon special? His acceleration. His 4.34-second 40-yard dash is impressive, but it's his 10-yard split, the first burst of speed, that truly makes him dangerous. He doesn't just hit top speed, he explodes into it. One mystery remains: Cam Scadabo. He didn't run the 40-yard dash, but he did crush the other drills, including a massive vertical jump. Some fans are wondering, did he skip the 40 because he didn't want to risk a slow time? Will he run it later? Either way, this draft class is shaping up to be one of the deepest we've seen in years. And it's not just the running backs. The tight ends are also making waves. One name to watch? Terrence Ferguson, a former Heritage High School star who's proving he belongs in the conversation. One name that dominated the NFL Combine? Terrence Ferguson. And, not just by a little, he put on a show. Fastest 40-yard dash, highest vertical jump, quickest 10-yard split. That means he's not just fast. He's explosive from the first step. And that's exactly what teams need in a modern tight end. Now, here's where things get interesting. What if top prospects like Tyler Warren and Colston Loveland are already off the board? Do the Broncos reach for another tight end? Or do they trust Sean Payton to find the perfect fit later in the draft? And let's not forget, Ferguson has history. He played high school football in Colorado and was a former teammate of Bo Nix. Imagine the Broncos reuniting those two on the same offense. Chemistry like that doesn't come around often. Even more impressive? When you watch his Senior Bowl tape, you see that his speed isn't just for show. It translates on the field. He was burning some of the best cornerbacks and safeties in college football, creating insane separation on his routes. Could this mean the Broncos go defense first, knowing they could grab Ferguson in round 2 or even round 3? It's a real possibility. Now, what about the competition? Colston Loveland couldn't compete at the Combine due to a shoulder injury, and Tyler Warren didn't test in certain events. Could Loveland have matched Ferguson's numbers? Maybe, but as of now, Ferguson walks away as the best-tested tight end in this draft. And here's one last crazy stat. Out of 1,000 tight ends tested, Ferguson ranks 53rd all-time in athletic ability. That's elite company. So, Broncos fans, is Ferguson the answer at tight end? Let's talk about it. Drop your thoughts in the comments. On fire. The NFL Combine doesn't just highlight the stars, it also reveals players who might not be as good as their stats suggest. And one name that stood out for all the wrong reasons? Harold Fannin Jr. His numbers at Bowling Green looked impressive, but let's be real. Who are they even playing against? The competition level isn't there. And when you watch his film, the disappointment sets in fast. The biggest red flag? His gauntlet drill. He couldn't stay in a straight line. In the NFL, where the difference between an open pass and an interception is just inches, this kind of sloppiness won't fly. His cuts looked unnatural. When he had to round the corner and head upfield, it was slow, awkward, and clunky. Compare that to someone like Travis Kelce who can stop on a dime and explode upfield. Night and day. Bottom line? Fannin's stock is dropping, fast. Meanwhile, Terrence Ferguson, his stock is soaring. A wide receiver who missed the mark now, onto another disappointment. T.Z. Johnson. At just 154 pounds, he'd be the lightest receiver in the entire NFL. You'd think that means blazing speed, right? Wrong. 40-yard dash, 4.51 seconds. Not even in the top 10 for wide receivers. Stock, falling. Some fans argue that his tape shows great separation. Maybe. But NFL scouts want speed and size. With these numbers, he might not even get drafted. Final takeaway. The Broncos are in a great spot. The running back class, stacked. The tight end class, full of playmakers. Sean Payton is going to walk away with weapons. And that means Bonk won't have a sophomore slump. Broncos fans, get ready. Big things are coming. Blast off.